How's it, guys? This is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now this video is going to be the Game Week 12 review. I know we don't usually do a video about the review completely. We usually incorporate it with the preview, but due to the international break, I didn't want to leave you guys out to dry for too long, as I do think the price rises will be quite aggressive before Game Week 13. So I wanted to get this video out to recommend some transfer decisions as well as take a look at how the team got on. So when we get to that Game Week 13 preview, we don't have to do any of that nonsense and we can get straight into the team selection. So this video is just going to be covering some transfer options that I'm going to be considering, as I want to give you guys some points to ponder over this long international break over the next 2 weeks. Thanks to those of you who did join our little deadline stream as well. I've always wanted to do a deadline stream, as I do like the title Deadline with Dayvy. I do think that's quite catchy, so thanks to those of you who did join the stream. Apologies to those of you who might have missed it. There wasn't a lot of warning. It was kind of quite an ambitious thing that I wanted to do, and I managed to actually do it. So stay tuned for more live streams around the deadline period and hopefully a lot more streams in the future. So as you can see on screen, we have the dream team for Game Week 12. There's a little bit of variation here that I like to call the midfield, that midfield of 10, as they all basically got 10 points except for Ruben Neves over there. But we did have Pope in goal with 9 points, which was a massive boost to those of you who have managed to hold on to the Burnley keeper. I know it's basically Pope and Ryan as the two most highly owned keepers that I can think of. There's probably a lot more out there, but I'm glad to have seen that Pope rewarded his owners for the patience that they've had with the Burnley keeper. Tarkowski also rewarding his owners there, another Burnley defender, along with Kieran Clark and Tomori. Tomori probably one of the most notable players in this lineup, as I know a lot of you guys do own him. I've been kind of tempted to get him in the squad, but have always been put off by some other options that I'd rather get in. But going into midfield, as I spoke about that midfield of 10s, Martial probably the most dominant one there. Congratulations if you did manage to bring him in before this game week. Has shown that he's got a little bit of form coming in, and United do look a lot better than they have. So maybe an option to consider in a midfield that are kind of lacking quite a couple options there, especially our premium midfield is not really performing that well. And then going up front, Delafeu and Vardy. And not much more to say about Vardy. We'll talk about how I managed to bring him into my squad and how happy I was to manage to have him as my captain. But if you don't have him, I'd definitely be looking at bringing Vardy in. Has looked to be in the dream team for a couple of game weeks now, so I definitely want to look at. But let's get on to how my team performed. We have had our first sponsorship on the Dayvy FPL channel, so thanks a lot to OneFootball. OneFootball is a footballing app that gives you live notifications of the games that you're following, so it makes the perfect FPL companion app, and I've been using it for a couple of years now, and that's why I was happy to do a sponsorship with them as I use the product. So down below there's a link for all you need to know about OneFootball. You can go download the app on iOS or Android. It's completely free, so no commission or anything here, so you don't have to worry about that, but I use it, so should you. So as you can see on screen, Game Week 12 brought about 70 points for our team. Unfortunately, transfers, we made 3, so that is a -8 there, taking us down to 62, which was still above the average, and I was really surprised to only see a drop in rank of about 8k places. We now sit just below that 48k mark, excuse me, so quite happy to still be in the top 50k, especially after that 8-point hit, and I am quite comfortable with making that 8-point hit because I am quite liking how the team is setting out for. So I just want to break down the transfers that I did make starting off the video, as I'm sure that there was a lot of people that were a little bit confused as to what transfers I was going to make and why I was taking a -8 hit. So the main reason I wanted to take a -8 hit was Jamie Vardy. I knew that I had to bring him in my squad, and with Leicester's upcoming fixtures being so good, as you can see on screen, a nice run of green there, so I knew I wanted to bring him in, and I knew that I wanted to captain him, so I knew the -8 hit would be repaid if Vardy did do well as a captain. Unfortunately enough, due to me captaining Vardy over the likes of Abraham, that 8-point hit was basically recovered. I think that the 8-point hit was paid off, but I'm not too sure about it. I haven't done the maths exactly, but the transfers entailed Pereira to Soyuncu. Then I went Vardy from Mapai, and then I also brought in Lascelles for the likes of Benjamin Mendy. So you can kind of argue if you think those transfers are going to be worth it, but I do think in the long run they will be. Pereira still will do well if you are an owner of him. I wouldn't be too worried, but I just needed the cash to kind of upgrade my striking to Vardy, so I had to kind of strip the defense a little bit there, but I just had to bring in Jamie Vardy and captain him this game week, and we'll talk about how it kind of paid off later on in the video. So starting off with how the overall team performed, we have Matt Ryan with a lovely 7 points, even though he did concede 3 goals. Absolutely marvelous. Not too much I can say about Matt Ryan there, having conceded and managed to get 3 bonus points and I think 3 save points there, so an absolute stellar performance there. So I'm really happy to have owned him. I know he didn't exactly get the same amount of points as Pope, but I think if you're considering the fixture there, he did do quite well. Ryan's fixtures are quite tough coming up, so I am pondering maybe making a move for another option, but we will talk about that in the transfer options later on in the video. So we have Robertson with 5 points. I was never considering Liverpool to keep a clean sheet in this one. I always thought that Man City were going to score, but considering how late it did happen, I think we were a little bit unfortunate there. But to be saying that again, Man City had plenty of chances, and I'm surprised that they didn't score more than 1 goal in that quite entertaining game against Liverpool. So Robertson, you've probably all seen it. He had a lovely cross into the likes of Salah there, so really happy to have owned him. I do think that he outscored Trent Alexander-Arnold in this one, so looks to be a good option there if you don't have him in. I know a lot of people are considering that double Liverpool defense, an option we'll also talk about later in the transfer options. But then we have Lundstrom with 2 points. I know that Spurs were meant to win this game, and I kind of predicted them to, but I thought that Lundstrom could still maybe get something out of this one, and I was more confident on playing the Sheffield United defender over the likes of Lascelles, just because of how solid Sheffield United have been. You saw that again on the weekend, only conceding 1 goal to Spurs, and managed to get some resilience there to bring it back to a draw. So I'm happy to own Lundstrom, and that Sheffield United double up could even be an option in defense. Then we have Nathan Ake with 1 point. I kind of joked about how Bournemouth Newcastle would probably end with both teams scoring, and unfortunately that did come true with Nathan Ake conceding 2 goals, Lascelles conceding 1, but he did get subbed off early through injury. But Nathan Ake has been returning enough for me, and this Bournemouth kind of clean sheet run had to end, just to kind of put a little bit of sense in our minds that Bournemouth can't be the highest clean sheet holders in the Premier League. I do think they do have some potential in the future, but I think we've gone back to reality on the Bournemouth defense here. Then we have Soyuncu with 8 points. The transfer from Pereira to him did actually pay off with him getting 1 more bonus point, so that was an 8 point to 7 point swing there. Happy to have him in my squad. I said that Leicester always had the potential to keep that clean sheet, which was why I was comfortable playing him, and that just proved me right again. Leicester look like they're in great form right now, attacking and defensively, so hopefully a lot more clean sheets coming up, and maybe even an odd goal or an assist from that Turkish defender. Going into midfield, a little bit of disappointment yet again with our premium options, but I always knew that this would be a low-scoring game week with the likes of Man City playing Liverpool. And I know I thought that there would be a lot of goals in here, but I thought that maybe Man City would score a bit more. And if you watched the game, you would have seen that Man City probably should have. So De Bruyne looked pretty good in that game, I will not lie. He always finds that through ball. It's just quite marvelous to watch him, that he always just finds that ball over the top or ball that splits the defense. So definitely looks to still be on the receiving end of some attacking returns in the future. So a little bit unlucky maybe to not get an assist in the Liverpool Man City game. But with Sterling, he looked lively, but Sterling was definitely their main attacking output. Every time City went forward, they basically shifted it to that left side, and they let Trent Alexander-Arnold kind of defend against Sterling. There was an ongoing battle between them. Some Sterling won and some Trent Alexander-Arnold won. But overall, I think that Sterling could have maybe got an attacking return here and was maybe a little bit unfortunate not to. He even had a nice little attempted assist to Jesus, who I thought would definitely finish that, but he did not. So if you are a De Bruyne or Sterling owner, you could feel a little bit unfortunate, but I don't think we could have been expecting that much from this kind of a top 1 and 2 clash of Liverpool versus Man City. Going on to Mason Mount, he surprisingly did start. I thought there was always the chance, as Frank Lampard was quite positive with him. He managed 3 points in this one, so lucky with that clean sheet point to get it. But with Mount, Pulisic does seem to be outperforming him at the current moment. But I'm still holding faith with Mount. I think that he should do quite well. His likes of Abraham did score. I spoke about it in the deadline stream that Abraham was the safe captaincy option. I thought that he would get in a goal or an assist, which he did. But I thought that Vardy just had that higher ceiling. So that's why I went to go captain him. And as you can see, it paid off. 12 points, doubled to 24 there. Lovely from the Leicester striker. I was a bit worried when we did approach that kind of 60-minute mark and it was still 0-0. But then Vardy managed to repay us. He just needs that one chance, it seems. And he managed to get it and got a lovely assist as well. So Vardy looks like a must-have right now. If you don't own him in your squad, I would definitely look at bringing him in. And as you can see, I even took a hit to bring him in, so it might even be worth a hit. Going onto the bench, Lascelles started on my bench as I just favoured the Bournemouth defence. I always thought that Bournemouth's attack was more likely to score than Newcastle's attack, so I played him. He did come off injured, but we do have a nice international break to kind of assess it, and hopefully he does kind of rebound from injury. Then we have Cantwell with 1 point. I spoke about in the deadline stream how I thought that he would lose his place, and he did, so it looks like he's going to be on the bench most game weeks, but he will come on probably around the 60-70 minute mark, so it still might be worth holding him. But Norwich just look atrocious now and don't even look like attacking, so probably not going to be playing many games. And then Greenwood with 1 point, kind of always going to be my third bench position, as it doesn't seem like he's going to be getting that many chances under Solskjaer, so he'll probably always be on my bench. But let's get on to probably what you've been looking for, the transfer options that I'm considering for the next couple game weeks. So as you can see, in goal, I have replacements for Ryan. If I was to go, I would go for Henderson 100%. I do like Gaza from Spurs, but I just think that Spurs are looking a little bit woozy right now, and I do trust that Sheffield United defense. You can't bring him in this game week as he is ineligible to face his parent club, obviously on loan from Man United, who they play this weekend, so I would look at bringing him in next game week. As you can see, they have some very nice fixtures there, so I'm really comfortable with doubling up on that Sheffield United defense. As you can see, I have Bulldog here as well, another cheap 4.5 option from Sheffield United that you could bring in, but I'm kind of looking at maybe shifting some funds into defense again with a double up on Liverpool defense with Trent Alexander-Arnold. I just think that fixtures are so good. I think maybe not from a attacking point of view, the likes of Crystal Palace are quite tough, and Everton's always a close game, but I think from a defensive point of view, I can kind of see clean sheets in all of these fixtures. So you could look at Trent Alexander-Arnold. If you don't have a Liverpool defender, I'd look at bringing one in 100%, but if you do look at a double up, I would maybe look at that Liverpool defensive double up, as they do offer some value, as they're basically playing like attacking players right now. Tomori's another one. I won't be bringing him in this game week, but if I do manage to bank a transfer, maybe next game week bring him in. I just think the Man City fixture is going to be a tough one for Chelsea to keep clean sheets, and I don't think the Chelsea defense is basically capable of keeping a clean sheet against Man City, but I definitely think in these home fixtures that are coming up they could. So Tomori is still an option and on my watch list from now till probably about that December period. Going into midfield, there are 3 options that I am looking at. The first one, you don't need much introduction, Sadio Mane. Manages to get a goal or an assist in every game right now. Does still look like a very good option. I know Salah scored on the weekend, but Mane is still my favorite attacking option from Liverpool. And if you want to kind of double up on that Liverpool attack, maybe drop the likes of Sterling down to Mane. They're around the similar price right now, so you could look at that. But the other options are Martial and Pulisic. Martial on a good run. Man United's fixtures are quite nice as well, and he does look to be on a little bit of form. I know they have the Spurs fixture. That's not a great one, but not the worst fixture in the top 6 right now. And the Man City game should be quite open, and hopefully it gets Martial a lot of FPL points. Then Pulisic, I already spoke about, outperforming Mount right now. Probably the midfielder from Chelsea that you want to bring in, and definitely the one that's on form. So a little bit of a weird price for me, as he is quite a bit more expensive than Mount at the moment. So I can't do a direct swap to him. I would have to drop someone, but that I could do. Then going on to the front striker, Jimenez. Great form right now. I know that Wolves aren't scoring that many goals, but Jimenez seems to be the main scorer for them. He's getting mainly the goals and assists for them, so it looks quite solid in their main outlet. So I definitely would be looking at bringing him in. I would probably bring him in if I was looking to maybe transfer 3 attackers up front, and then maybe maybe dropping some funds from midfield or defense. But these are kind of the options I'm looking at. Please keep an eye on the price rises, as they're probably going to be quite aggressive, as I said. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the preview video and the team selection coming on next week. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at DayvyFPL. I post most of my updates there if I do make transfers, so go ahead and follow me on there. Please like the video if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you're new or have not subscribed yet. But otherwise, hope you guys had a great game week 12, and I'm going to be signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.